This week on the Kojima Frequency, we celebrate Halloween with CarcinogenSDA. Horror speedrunner turned challenge runner with a focus on helping others achieve the same.
Speaking of games, no, I'm joking.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I will say this. Like, we have humored getting Carcinogen on this show for a bit of time, actually. And my God, it's been kind of pushed back, delayed. But my God, what timing now with everything that's going on top of the fact that it's Halloween. So I feel like we really nailed the timing on this one.
I can't think of anyone who's like more perfect for the Halloween show. Just after Silent Hill 2 remake got announced, and of course Resident Evil 4 remake as well. So for anyone who's not familiar with Carcinogen SDA, he's the most prolific challenge runner, I'd say. He does extremely difficult challenges in gaming. I'd say you mostly focus on no damage, right? But you tend to do like the big completionist type runs of games as well.
That would be a correct assessment, yes.
So are you just losing your mind right now at these announcements? Because, I mean, admittedly, it is kind of funny that we constantly drift into talk about horror games when the only real horror game Kojima's ever really worked on is PT, but that sort of then knits itself into the rest of Silent Hill and everything else attached. And plus, we're all just kind of big horror fans anyway, so, having you here is a good fit.
Oh, cool.
People have actually gotten mad at us for talking about Resident Evil too much. I just want you to know that we will never stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. You shouldn't. Nah. Talk about whatever you want.
Hey, I'm Fingers.
Yo, it's Apache Smash.
Hey everyone, this is Days Ahead.
And I'm Nitroid. You're listening to the Kojima Frequency.
Especially with like all this survival horror news with the new like RE4 remake, with the release of Shadow of Rose and Golden Edition on top of the Silent Hill 2 remake, like as survival horror fans, like we're certainly eating for the next year.
Yeah.
How does that feel for you? Like it's kind of like your bread and butter, right? I mean, you're already like kicking into the Shadow of Rose, like no hit runs, no damage runs.
Jeez.
So it sounds like you'll be like hitting the ground running with these games.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how I always do. Anytime there's like a AAA horror release, is I try to hit the ground running as quickly as I can.
Is a big part of doing it as a job, like getting in there first? I imagine like being the first one to have the video out kind of like really fucking matters.
Yes and no. I mean, there's plenty of people who will have the video out first. I think like someone actually already did get the no save no damage run for Shadow of Rose, but it's just a matter of just try to get it as quickly as you can. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
See, you're from a completely different world than me, because I played it last night and died about 1 billion times. I was just happy to get through it.
I just really wanted to see the continuation of the story, personally, and I like them doing DLCs with additional story content. I think that's awesome, and I'm absolutely terrified of those dull enemies.
Oh my God.
You have to look at them to stop them. Holy shit!
Yeah.
The dolls are pretty silly. I don't think that I've lost a single run to the dolls yet, though. The thing that I'm like currently losing the most runs to, though, is not even like enemy grabs either, but I can't tell whether an enemy is about to grab me or if it's about to hit me yet. Because like depending on where you face, the grab can change into a hit, and you can't really dodge it very well, and Rose does not have a block function either, so you can't like block it out like Ethan can.
Yeah, definitely missed the ability to use a knife as well. I was kind of upset they didn't let you play in first person either.
It's not the worst thing in the world, considering that there is a... have you finished the DLC yet?
Just the Shadows of Rose. I haven't touched Mercenaries yet.
Oh, okay. I'm not even touching Mercenaries. Anyway, Yeah, no, I just straight up do not care about mercenaries. It's like I know that people are going to be like, Carsey, when are you going to do mercenaries? Are you going to do mercenaries no damage? Because I know that there's unlockables attached to it, but it's like I have never cared about mercenaries, and I'm not going to start because it's just, so much score attacking upon score attacking. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, the reason why Shadows of Rose is third person is just specifically because of the abilities she has, and then there's like the final boss of the DLC, and there's a bunch of like dodging and tentacle attacks and stuff like that. So it just demands a third person camera angle. I don't think you could do quite the same thing just like by design with like a first person camera.
My only grievance with the game so far is not even necessarily the gameplay itself, but just the last like 10 minutes if you don't have the auto tutorial on. Because I've seen both myself and even like some of the more competent popular RE streamers just like like completely struggle on that just because they weren't aware that sort of new mechanic just kind of got plopped in at the very end.
Yeah.
Which I hate those like sort of new mechanics that get plopped in at the very end in general. So
yeah, I don't know. It's like I loaded the game and I guess I just like never turned off the tutorial sequences because sometimes that just happens. And it's like, oh hey, I can dodge. I can do a tentacle attack.
It looks really cool as well, like the stun and the thing coming out up in the ground. What do you all think overall? I mean, everyone who's finished it, like that's all three of you, right? It's just me who hasn't actually played it.
Well, I mean, what do I think about it overall? I mean, it's kind of grown on me since I started doing no save, no damage stuff, but I was worried that the enemies would be like too tanky and whatnot. And, really they're not. I would say that they didn't really do like all that much with the scenario, especially with like the enemy design. They just kind of wanted to, reuse a lot of environments and just get it done kind of quick, feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a suitable end to, Ethan's story and whatnot, but definitely left a lot lacking, I think.
I'm in the same place where I think there was a lot of potential there that wasn't necessarily realized at the same time. And you're right that it did feel like an asset swap. At the same time, it does somewhat satisfy the hunger I kind of have, or the love I had for that like Resident Evil 3.5 conceptual demo. Like this is the closest thing I feel like I'll ever get to that. So I at least appreciate it in that regard.
Do you think sort of Capcom's added emphasis on third person is in any way an indication that they're going to be shifting that way in the future? Like if and when Resident Evil 9 rolls around, do you think that's going to roll back to third person controls because of the popularity of 2 remake and everything, or do you think they'll still stick with first person?
I'm not entirely sure, but given that there's about to be a PlayStation VR 2 for the PS5, and that there's going to be a VR version, like a VR patch or something like that. I don't know. I don't exactly know what the nomenclature would be in this case. Is it a new version of the game? Is it going to be a patch? It's probably, yeah. We'll just say patch. A patch that is going to add PSVR 2 support for Resident Evil Village is going to happen. I don't know what that means for like the future of Resident Evil. I know that in general the game industry has had a lot of trouble trying to get VR to kind of like take off, just specifically because selling the hardware, a lot of people get motion sick. This, that, and the other, even though VR has, shown itself to be really, really fun and whatnot. Resident Evil 4 VR, full disclaimer, I was actually sponsored by Meta/Oculus to do like full playthroughs of Resident Evil 4 VR on my YouTube channel. Resident Evil 4 VR was actually a treat. It was really really good. I personally I don't even really like Resident Evil 4 all that much. And
there's another one. There's another person, Nitro. There you go.
I'm not alone.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I don't know. It's like I just always thought that it was kind of overrated, and I feel like it just kind of gets shoved down my throat. And
Preach.
when people are all like, and then like whenever I say like, whenever I just like just say with such scorn, yeah, I don't really like Resident Evil 4. People are just like always so shocked, and it's like it's just an opinion about a video game, dude. I just don't really like the game that much, but but playing it in VR actually fixed a lot of the grievances that I have with that game, and I get to do fun things, and the gameplay is fun, and I hope that it kind of similarly follows suit with like Village. And hell, who knows? Maybe even backport that stuff to Resident Evil 2 or Resident Evil 3, because there's actually a VR like someone was actually able to do like a full-on VR mod for Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake, both of which I still have not been able to get to work on my computer, unfortunately. I really wish I could, because they look like so much fun, being able to like free aim with both hands, similarly to Resident Evil 4 VR. Like, come on. I want to play it so bad, but my computer's a shit,
I had an absolute blast with 7 in VR. That was one of the best experiences
no,
ever.
it was like the killer app.
I waited to play 7 until I had access to PSVR so I could go through my first time that way, and it was terrifying.
Yeah. That was the very first thing that I did. Was like the second I saw that Resident Evil 7 was in VR, like that demo hit, I got to play it in VR like the very next day at E3 after it was announced. Like, I immediately rushed out and bought a PSVR headset and just like sat on that until the game dropped, and I finally got to play it. It's like whenever I do my first playthroughs on stream, usually I try to it's like I try to get the code as early as I can from Capcom, just so I have like enough time to work on a video or something. And then I just get to take my time and just like actually like play through the game. I don't have the added pressure of having to like entertain people. I'm not going to like put on a camera or anything. I'm not going to put on airs for anyone. I just want to shut the fuck up and play.
And that is one of the most high anxiety experiences in games. Just
not for me. I mean, okay.
Oh, I was horrified,
I will admit
man.
I will admit the very first time that I played it in VR, like during the demo where you fight the first molded, because there were like a lot of demos for Resident Evil 7. Like I literally found myself like raising my hand trying to swat the molded out of the way. Like, get the fuck out of the way. I wasn't even like scared or nothing. He was just like invading my personal space. I'm like, get the fuck out of the way.
That reminds me of the time I was playing Super Hot on VR, and like I had just gotten through a really big gunfight hiding behind a car, and then I tried to lean against the car to rest, and I just fell on the floor in real life. And I was like, damn, this shit is intense. If I'm doing this, like,
real pain. Wow.
You don't get injured in VR, do you? Every year, a few soldiers die in field exercises.
There's pain sensation in VR and even a sense of reality and urgency. The only difference is it isn't actually happening.
That's the way they want you to think, to remove you from the fear that goes with battle situations. War is a video game. What better way to raise the ultimate soldier?
Super Hot in VR is so good, but there's like a level that I couldn't get past though, because of like, I don't know, weird positioning. I think it was just my play setup, really. Especially because like it's like Super Hot VR, and like on the Oculus Quest 2, like it demands a lot of space.
Oh yeah,
like it demands a lot of space around your person in order to like properly be able to play certain games.
I really love horror in VR. Like, I want to be scared. I want to have that tense experience. So, like,
Oh yeah.
I was really disappointed that Alien Isolation never got an official VR patch. I mean, there's like a fan patch that you can do, but it's kind of janky, you know.
When was the most recent time that you played it, out of curiosity? Not that I know anything about Alien Isolation VR. I'm just like curious if there might be like something newer, because they are always working on this stuff.
It's been a while. I know that there were plans to make Alien Isolation have VR support. They just were never able to get around to it. So the guys who made the fan patch sort of dug out what was already there.
I mean, that whole studio that made Alien Isolation just completely folded, right?
Yeah, it's such a shame because that was such an incredible game.
It was, I will admit that Alien Isolation took a little bit to grow on me, but after I did my no damage run of it, I actually got like a new respect for the game.
I feel like you and I are probably coming at these games from very different perspectives. You are very
Yes, we
highly
are.
skilled in them, and I'm going in like, oh god, am I gonna like how many bullets do I have? Like I'm freaking out as I'm playing it, but you're just like, yeah, it's nothing. And so I probably get scared way more easily.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it depends on the game, because yeah, like the way I play these games, like the games are kind of ruined for me in a way, but but I try to play them really, really well, and record something that is almost like movie like, just so people can,
Yeah.
enjoy looking at them that way, and hopefully try to learn something, and maybe take the piss out of the game a little bit,
Yeah. Is there a game you would think of, like, is there a title that you would point to and say, like, this is the scariest thing I've ever played?
I haven't been scared by a video game in a very, very, very long time. Cause like, since I started like, doing as many speed runs and no damage runs of games as I have, the experience basically comes down to, I'm like already breaking down the game subconsciously, unfortunately. And it's like I already see, like, okay, where's the event triggers, where are the fail states?
Right.
And it's like a fail state is, to me, is just like not punishing. So about the only thing that has actually really made a horror game kind of scary, actually kind of intense, is when there is a fail state that is actually punishing. It's like if a fail state just resets you to, a checkpoint that is just like, less than, about 5-10 minutes away, it's really not that scary. It's not scary at all to me, actually. As a matter of fact, I feel insulted that I should feel scared.
I'm still afraid of Mr. X chasing me, and like it's more of like the idea of him being behind me, because when he gets up to you, he doesn't actually do a lot, but when he's like just in the distance, I'm fucking terrified. But I still get scared when I open lockers and zombies fall out of them, and I know it's coming. So I don't know if I'll ever like lose that with horror games, even like doing no damage and speed runs and things like that. I just think I'm a scaredy cat. I just think I'm kind of scared of these games.
I mean, I would imagine now that you're probably like not even that scared of Mr. X anymore, now that you know all the routes, right, Apache?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Full disclosure, I'm like usually around when he's doing these runs, not on Twitch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't had
like,
a chance to actually like really watch through like a full one of Apache's runs, just to like, because he's been asking me questions about like the routes and stuff the whole time, but I haven't actually like, unfortunately, I wasn't able to like actually like see any yet.
It's kind of like a busman's holiday as well. If you've done all that shit and then you go watch someone else do it, it's like not going to be as interesting. So,
well, I mean, no. It actually is interesting to me in some ways, specifically from an ontological perspective.
It's like I understand where I know when he's coming in the run. I know what I have to do with him. He works the same like almost every single time, but in the B scenario, for example, you trigger him early, then you enter the STARS office, do your things in there, giving him chance to like move away from you. But then when you go through the locked door and into the library to get the final statue piece, he's going to be in like multiple different situations, and sometimes you just hear him on the other side of the door, and I'm like, is he going to be like, am I going to open this door and he's going to be there? And it's more of like the idea of him that's scary than when he's actually there. Because when he's in front of me and I'm just like making him walk around a bench like a fucking idiot or whatever, but it's like the idea of him and the fear of him like hasn't gone away at all.
Yeah, like in my case, you know, I actually really liked, you know, the game of cat and mouse that I played with Mr. X. It's like once you're familiar with everything and you're just like, okay, I know where to get the key items and I know precisely how to get through the enemies that are on the map, and I just need to, you know, just go get it done and just get Mr. X off of the map as quickly as possible. You know, once you're in that state, then it's like Mr. X is whatever. But if it were possible for me to play through the entire game with Mr. X chasing me and not like the every enemy is Mr. X mod, I think that would be like my ideal way to play Resident Evil 2 Remake. I have played like the every enemy is Mr. X mod. I don't know if I still have the recording of that or not. Well, I actually like replaced all the Mr. X's with like the Mr. X wearing the thong as well.
With a little umbrella logo.
I think I maybe didn't upload it because I was just like busy memeing and playing that, you know, that Sin with Sebastian song, you know, shut up and sleep with me the whole time. But
on that note,
that's one way to lose the fear of everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just
I honestly think, like, for April Fool's Day, that they should just, you know, patch the game to allow Mr. X in every single room in the building. Because the funniest thing would be people who just, like, run into the clock tower room or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, he can't get me in here," and then he just enters the room. It would produce so many funny, like,
right? Oh my god, yo. In Resident Evil 3 Remake, it is possible for Nemesis to come into one of the save rooms.
That was one of the things that was so disappointing to me about
two of the save rooms, actually.
I had expected with RE3 Remake that they would have just taken Mr. X to the next, you know, logical step, because Mr. X borrows so much from Nemesis conceptually in the remake.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was preparing myself for, oh god, so Nemesis is just going to be Mr. X, you know, cranked up to 11. He's going to be coming into every room. He's going to be persistent through the whole game. Like, I was thinking like all these different ways they could have used him, and then he's in, you know, he stalks you for like a quarter of the game.
It feels more like a set piece, if anything.
Yeah. And the original 3 is like my favorite Resident Evil, so it was kind of disappointing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like it is tied with Resident Evil 1 Remake for my favorite Resident Evil 3 classic is. But I mean, Resident Evil 3 Remake was, you know, I mean, as far as a remake of the game goes, it was very disappointing. I mean, it was an okay game in itself. Just, you know, just as like, you know, I really liked Resident Evil 2 Remake and the gameplay is fun. But as far as like, you know, when I like if I wanted to say that it's like a remake of Resident Evil 3 classic, I just don't feel that at all.
Yeah, it feels more like DLC for 2 Remake.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say. I don't think that it feels really like DLC for 2 Remake, but I mean, like, but I understand where they're coming from because it's just like so short, you know?
Yeah, there's multiple set pieces that, you know, sort of didn't even show up.
Yeah, a lot of set pieces that just like didn't even show up. I mean, Nemesis himself is just a set piece. I really like the design of like garbage bag Nemesis though. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
With the caution stickers.
Yeah, the caution stickers everywhere, right? It's like, hey, did you know that this is a dangerous bioweapon and it's probably going to get you really, really sick if you get close to it?
If this package tears, bad things are going to happen. And what happened? Jill teared up the package. Bad things happen.
She fucked around and found out.
I have like two distinct camps of people who are like, interested in me playing 2. It's like the one camp that keeps asking me when I'm going to play 3 remake, and the other camp that's like, don't ever play that piece of shit horrible game, and it's like a 50-50 split. So I'm just not. I don't think I'm going to stream playing it.
No. I can tell you right now. Don't fucking listen to those people. Just play it. Just play it. It's not. It's really not that. It's yeah.
I mean, it's fun.
It's really not that terrible. It is disappointing if you've played like Resident Evil 3 Classic, but I might actually suggest that maybe before you play 3 Remake, you should probably play the original Resident Evil 3 first.
I mean, I've played all the original titles. I've just never.
Oh, okay.
I played them a long time ago, and I haven't revisited them, and I'm going to be shockingly bad with tank controls. So I just thought more than anything, it would be embarrassing to stream that. I'll probably like montage like for a month of like getting to grips with tank controls until I'm gliding around those fucking levels.
I gotta see that.
Looking forward to those Discord calls.
I don't like to be bad at games publicly. I'm always afraid to be like bad at games publicly.
I get that. I'm not even worried about like being bad at games publicly. I just know that, that's not what people tune in to watch me do. So I'm like, God damn it, I just want to get past like, these constant fail states so I can get to the actual like, entertaining part for people.
On that note of fail states, I mean, you mentioned that something that would be actually scary or sort of like fail states that actually carry larger consequences. Like,
oh yeah.
What's a good example of that?
Yeah, you're right. I did kind of trail off there. So when I think of fail states that actually have a consequence, I mean Resident Evil 1 Classic is just like full of them, right? Just specifically because of the ink ribbon system, it actually does punish you if, like basically you just set your own checkpoints, right? Because you're saving manually and you only have a limited number of saves, you're encouraged to save less. And if you run out of ink ribbons, then things get like super scary and super intense. And, it's like, well, fuck, I don't have any ink ribbons. And now I have to play through, such a large portion of video game. Now what's, I know that, and I know that if I die, I'm going to get sent back, way back. It's just one of the ways that Resident Evil, like classic Resident Evil builds tension,
You can make like horrendous saves for yourself as well. Like you can be in danger and you used up all the ammo that's around, and like you've just got this horrible save.
But you just save anyway because you're so scared, right?
Yeah.
I guess at that point, that's like one of the flaws of like the ink ribbon system is like whenever you just like compulsively save. Because you just got a little bit further in the game, a little bit further in the game, and a little bit further in the game, but you're so bad at it, you're only creating frustration for yourself by like reloading that save because it's like the illusion is gone. Now I'm just trying to progress and it's not working.
I know this is like technically opposite of what you were saying, just because, you were saying that, RE2 Remake doesn't, I'm assuming this is one of those games that you're referring to that doesn't necessarily have like a major consequence for a failure state. But the way you described it reminds me when I was initially plotting out like my own S+ runs in RE2 Remake. And I'm no means in the same skill set as you and Apache.
Oh, that's whatever.
So like planning out that run and like, like being like, okay, I can afford to save after G1 because G1's easy for me. But that period between like the save from G1 to like, I think my save for my first run was like all the way up to the end of the sewers, like it's tension, like you said, like if I die, I have to go all the way back. So there is that tension, with like actual tangible consequences. Sorry to disrupt there.
No.
So there's such a divide between the way a Resident Evil game plays and the way a Silent Hill game plays typically.
Yes.
So because the sort of the horror that sort of gets to you is more, it tends to stem more from the gameplay and the challenges. I don't know. Is it a situation where like Resident Evil games are more likely to be scary to you than something like Silent Hill as a result of that?
I think really it just depends. It just depends on the game, like I definitely feel a lot of like anxiety, and I'm always like afraid that I'm gonna take like a really dumb hit or something like that. Like for instance, how I got really really close to the end with.
Oh, I watched that this morning. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was just so angry, and I kept like trying to get to I kept trying to get to the final boss again and again and again. But then just like dumb bullshit kept happening, and I guess I kept like experimenting with things and stuff like that because I was just like getting bored with, the process of just like trying to get to the boss. But it's like I've already figured out all the strats. There's nothing left to figure out besides just get to the boss and get to the end, because this DLC has like nothing to it whatsoever. But when I got to the final boss, like I'll tell you what, on that stream, Days Ahead, I was feeling it.
Ooh, yeah.
I was feeling it. Like I was just like shaking, I felt like all the blood just like rushing out of my hands. Just like trying to trying to remember like what the base controls were on my keyboard. What is my dodge key? What is my absorb fireball key kind of thing, Cuz like I have to get this absolutely perfect, and if I don't, then I just like lose it all.
It's I'm not trying to make a bad situation get something good out of a bad situation here, but it did give me a lot of the same energy as I feel again with Apache on Discord call when he's at like G3 Birkin and like one misread of his swipe or one misplacement of spacing and it's like it's all over. And definitely same energy there. I can see why you two are friends.
Oh my god. I love it. Like, I actually love it. I love that feeling. Dude, what a rush.
Really, I think I vibe more with Apache's sense of humor than anything else, but
Yeah,
sure, we'll roll with that.
That's a lot of fun too. That's a big pro of being his friend as well.
Yeah, Apache's got jokes.
Did he show you his mustache?
Oh, I might have to. I don't think I've shown you this, but yeah, I shaved all my beard off and I've just got a mustache now. It looks kind of ridiculous, but
really,
but it really annoys the fuck out of people. Like everyone I've met since has been like, "What the fuck are you doing? Shave that off now!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so keeping this."
Yeah, he's like.
You really do feed off of other people's frustration, don't you?
No, normally I have to write something to piss people off. Now I can just do it with my face.
We're just gonna have to start printing your tweets and like sticking it to your forehead. Double up.
I'm like one of the things that I did enjoy when you were starting to do like RE2 speedrunning and RE2 no-hit runs. I was like, man, the shit posting he's gonna get away with is gonna be incredible. And now we have that whole like meme of Leon just being like an arrogant fool.
Leon's just so fucking funny to me. I don't think I ever like appreciated, because I saw, I was gonna call it Return to Raccoon City. What the fuck is that Resident Evil film called?
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah, Welcome to Raccoon City.
Go.
I was so critical of how stupid they made Leon in that film, but then when I went back and played the games, I was like, you know what? Maybe I've been too harsh.
One of the things I love about the RE remakes is sort of the little bits of characterization they do through those lines. The highlights, the big ones I think of is, Claire after she goes through all of the sewers and G2 Birkin getting him knocked over the crate. Like after all that, the only thing that she can say is, "I'm sorry, Sherry, this is taking way too long." Like, that's one example. The other example that just came out is in Shadows of Rose when you're fighting like quote unquote Evelyn and she says, "Oh, you're just a freak who has no friends," and then quote unquote Ethan, he writes out, "You have me."
You have me.
And I'm like, that's the shit that my mom used to say when I came home crying after being bullied. Like that was on point. It
is the most dad thing that you could possibly do.
It was perfect.
So how quickly did each of you figure out that was Ethan?
I mean, I knew from the
trailer. I feel like I knew straight away.
Yeah,
that was Punish Snake all over again. We just kind of all knew.
Yeah, it's like after maybe 2 or 3 lines, it's like, okay. It's like one could probably make like, like 2 guesses. I mean, like I had another guess, but I don't know. I just like kind of threw it out of my head after. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's Ethan. I just kind of realized, like, based on how nurturing and fatherly, the voice seemed after, like, 2 or 3, like it just seemed just genuinely empathetically concerned with with Rose's well-being, her mental and physical well-being. It's like, okay, yeah, this has got to be Ethan. Like, this is so it like the only question I had was, are they going to string the player along and Rose will never find out who the voice was, or is there just going to be like a big stupid reveal? And it's like, come on, it's Resident Evil, I should know better. Of course they're going to reveal it in in like the lamest way possible by actually just like having Ethan like right there, and he wasn't actually dead or something like that.
Yep, that was me. And that's exactly what they did.
Hot take, real quick. Ethan has more personality as disembodied text than he had in the entirety of 7 and 8.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's like, oh, he's actually got empathy.
I mean, he's always had it. It's just always been like a very it's just always
buried under layers of jackass.
Under layers of jackass, but also under layers of, there's a bunch of crazy people in this house trying to fucking kill me.
That's fair. Sorry, Days, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, the reason why I speak of this characterization is because of this one line Leon has in RE2, and this is where our meme comes from, where he's going to see Ben at the RPD jail, and Ben's like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Chief Irons is full of shit. Like, things are going bad. Like, you need to help me. And Leon, despite seeing all of the circumstances, everything that's going on, his response is, well, he had to have put you in there for a reason.
No, you're a criminal. Criminals go in jail. You're in jail.
It's the most American police
thing. I read the cop book.
That oh my god! Done.
And ever since then, we've just been like, words won't work with this one. Leon pulling over a minority for going 1 mile per hour over the speed limit. Like,
that's funny. That's my Leon joke. But I can't even say my other one. But Leon's most, like, the thing that said the most to me about Leon's character is, like, right at the start of the second scenario, he turns up, everything's on fire, and he's like, "Yep, best put my uniform on." Like, who would have time to put a fucking uniform on? Like,
he's such a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he thought it would offer him some extra protection, but he is. Yeah, no, he is a Boy Scout through and through.
The police station will have the answers to everything.
Non-zero chance he flashed his badge at a zombie.
He tries to arrest the first zombie in the game.
At the very beginning,
oh, wait, yeah, he does.
That bites the cop in the gas station. He's like, "Don't stop! I'll shoot."
I mean, to be fair, it's like the very first zombie he saw, so he had to get over, like, the suspension of disbelief somehow.
Yeah, no, for sure.
When it fucking chew through that dude's neck, he only had to let someone die to fucking figure it out.
Yeah. He's just like, this is like, he comes up to a cop who's trying to arrest a zombie. The zombie bites the cop, and he's like, "Whoa there, sir. Eating people is illegal. I'm going to have to place you under arrest now."
You can't just eat people. That's illegal.
Carl, that kills people.
Whips out his notebook and he's starting to write it down.
I have to write your ticket for this.
Like, bit another officer on the neck.
I can't even, like, say the jokes that we have for him in the RE4 remake, because...
No, I'm not going there.
I am not touching that.
On that note, though, as someone who runs these games, I mean, how do you feel about all the remakes that are coming out?
I mean, it's more video game. That's all I care about, if I'm being honest with you. But I mean, what little I've seen of RE4 remake, I mean, they showed a little bit of the village. They showed that some things have changed around. It doesn't surprise me in the least. that, you know, they just like took the scenario and completely refuculated everything, and, you know, there's going to be some base changes to the gameplay, but, you know, the obvious most startling one is that there's going to be more counters available. You know, you can parry a chainsaw with your fucking knife.
Yeah.
You know, which is really, really cool. I like that. But I mean, like, I don't even really like it because it's parrying a chainsaw with the knife. I just like that you have more options against the Ganado, because that was like my one complaint with Resident Evil 4, is that there's so many enemies, right?
Yeah.
And you have to have as many options as possible in order to be able to get around them all. So to have like, you know, to have like too many enemies and just like not enough options, you know, like you can't stun them all, you know, you can't like you don't have any like avenues of escape or anything like that. Resident Evil Village was just like that. That's one of the reasons why Resident Evil Village is just like on my shit list so much. Is just because like there's, you know, like that initial area with like the lichens is like way too small. There's not enough places to just be able to like murk a whole group of them. Murk. Why do I always say murk when I'm saying like avoid? That's not what murk means. Murk means fucking kill shit. It
means pulling out your. It doesn't mean run. It means pulling out your flame rounds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, like there's just like no maneuverability, and you have no options to fucking stun any of them. There's no stun, and you know, you can't just like shoot them in the foot and get like, you know, get around them. You just get punished for losing space when in an environment where you can do nothing but lose space. So like things like that, you know? And it was kind of like that in Resident Evil 4. I mean, like you could learn mechanics, and you can learn how to like, you know, avoid plaga spawns as much as possible. That's something that I didn't actually learn how to do until recently. Flame rounds can prevent plaga from spawning. Doing a suplex can prevent plaga from spawning, kind of thing. But like the fact that you very visibly have more options than just shoot them in the face, kick them, and try to move to another part of the environment, like that's great. I like that. I like that you're able to use the knife as like a defense item, and like as an ability to like avoid the instant kills. So like you have like maybe 1-2 chances to avoid an instant kill.
Yeah,
and even they're sort of building in stealth too, almost, which kind of showed up in Shadows of Rose.
I completely forgot about the stealth gameplay. The stealth gameplay is. I actually think that Resident Evil Revelations 2 did stealth gameplay really well. A lot of people shit on Revelations 2, but gameplay wise, I think it's one of the most solid entries in the Resident Evil series. You know, even though it's like not got a whole lot else going for it, I felt like the gameplay was actually like really, really solid. Just specifically because, you know, the stealth action, like the blend of like stealth action and like, you know, and like other action was just like done really well. You know, you could stun enemies. There was a dedicated dodge button. The game just gave you a lot of options. And I think that options, especially in an action game, are very, very important to have.
That's what I'm hoping for with 4, is that the stealth is an option in sections. So you can fight all the Ganados and you can use your resources against them, or you can choose to stealth through sections of them as well. And as long as that gameplay feels really good, I think it'll be really strong. But if it's like, you know, you get seen by a Ganado, instant killed, and you have to restart the section again, I would really hate something like that.
I hate that shit.
Well, that's where you just launch a cow at them.
It's exactly. Like Resident Evil 4 really needs any more one-hit kills all over the goddamn place.
What if we had stealth sections that made Leon feel like Sherry?
I mean, it's just like whenever you have like a game that is just like chock full of one-hit kills like that, it takes you out of the game, and it just puts you in like frustration. Like even on the hardest difficulty, it's like you should feel like you're learning something and not just like banging your head against the wall, like with Village of Shadows and Resident Evil Village, right?
Yeah, I think that's like the most. Right, so sorry to take us back to 2, but just for 1 second to make a point, I think the amount of damage you have to do to zombies in hardcore in 2 remake is like perfect. It feels really
It
rewarding.
actually is.
And like people, at the start of the game where you've got the first handgun, it takes like 15 bullets to kill a zombie. People are like, oh, the enemies are like really bad bullet soaks in hardcore. It's like, not really. I have the worst gun in the game, but like as soon as you get a shotgun or whatever, you can decapitate really easily.
If you learn how to do focus shots, then you take down zombies in like fewer shots. Leon has a shotgun, which if you learn how to use the shotgun, you can decapitate zombies really easily. Claire's flame rounds, you just have to wait. You just have to wait a little while for the zombie to die, but the zombie dies like in 1 flame round shot. Every zombie dies in 1 flame round shot, give or take, 1 or 2 zombies that you just have to finish off with 1 extra handgun round.
The way I frame it for folks who are playing it for the first time is like, you're not supposed to kill anything, but there are things that would greatly help you if you took care of them permanently, and the game gives you just enough resources to do that.
Precisely.
Yeah, it's like Village of Shadows, though. It's like the worst it's ever been for bullet soaking. Like, it doesn't make a compelling difficulty for you to just turn the values way up on everything. And it's like, oh, it takes 12
That's precisely
shotgun
what Village of Shadows does.
Yeah, I know, it's so bad. Like, I don't like that at all.
You have to get the broken weapons just to make any progress, practically.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. And there are... I haven't actually played the game yet, by the way. I've just been watching people play it, but I think I've got the idea. And maybe with the DLC, they're again like moving away from that and saying, no, we've gone too far with how bullet soaky the enemies are. We need to move away from it. There's different ways to make compelling difficulties than just making them take more hits.
I mean, props to people who have been going through that with knives, because I had to max out the steak magnum just to get through that first section.
People are actually playing Village of Shadows with knives.
I was gonna say, from my understanding,
I think so. Yeah,
it's conceptually virtually impossible to even do like a knife only run.
I don't even. Yeah, it's like, yo, I don't even give a shit about how possible something is with a knife or is not. It's just, God, why would you want to bore yourself like that? Like, I'm just getting frustrated. Like, okay, it's not even like, the amount of resets that would just like make me feel frustrated. But it's precisely because like the enemies are fucking bullet sponges and you want to go through that shit with a knife? Like, my
it's
God.
Artificial difficulty.
Like, how little do you fucking value your time? Jesus Christ.
Oh, fuck.
There is a point in challenge runs where there is like a diminishing fucking return on like, on like how difficult something is versus how boring something is versus like the hit of dopamine that you get in return. Like, goddamn, I don't even want to follow whatever the fuck this is. Go do it on your own.
I'm not gonna lie, you going off like this feels like me sometimes watching Apache do. What is it that you're doing in MGS3 now? Like, one hit boss? Like, you can only like hit her in one punch combos?
You can only use single punches, and you have to hit her 90 times and do 30 perfect back-to-back counters. It's only 9 minutes, though. It's not like it's every
It feels like
boss.
30 minutes, but it's like you only get 10 minutes, but somehow it feels like 20.
I mean, at least Apache is good enough to fucking do it.
Right?
Apache's gonna run out of ways to beat MGS3 at this rate.
I have. That's why I'm playing Resident
Probably
Evil.
why he's doing Resident Evil now.
We're gonna have to mirror your controls or something. Actually, I might be able to do that.
Oh shit! I got into GDQ. sorry to bring that up randomly. I don't think I've said that on the show yet. I got into GDQ again.
Hell yeah!
That's fucking dope as fuck.
Somehow, like I can't believe it, to be honest. But and that was like the hardest one to get into as well. Like in terms of the number of people who submit, I think it's the most they've ever fucking had. So, but yeah, I'm going to be in America, but the show's not in America, it's online. I just happened to be in America at the time.
Yeah, I gotta make like a workstation or something. I don't fucking know.
I was going to say go to IKEA, but you don't even have them in America, so you can't.
What? Yeah, we do.
Oh,
yeah, we do.
What, for real? You have IKEA? My bad.
Yeah. My entertainment stand's IKEA.
Oh, I'll go to IKEA and get a desk or something then.
Good man.
It was funny too because it was for Metal Gear Solid 3, like right after you went back into RE2 stuff.
No, for real. Like I've been having a lot of fun doing something different, and it's been felt really rewarding for me. And like I didn't want to jump back into playing it, running MGS3, right? And I didn't want to just like have to hard switch back over to only grinding MGS3. But fortunately, I got in with a race versus Vermilion for European Extreme or European Extreme all camos. I know those runs like the back of my hand anyway, so I don't have to like grind the game every single day. But if I'd have got in with like blindfolded boss fights, I'd be able to do nothing else but play MGS3. So it's kind of like it's a real blessing that that's the run that got picked.
So I got a question, since we're kind of obligated, given the name of the show, to talk about Kojima related issues, and we've been going off on Resident Evil for about an hour now.
That's fine. It's the Halloween episode.
It is Halloween.
Not sorry.
No, I'm not either. I love it. But out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on PT?
Well, I only got a chance to really play it like once, and I'm not really a fan of like that particular genre of horror game. I knew that it was a quote unquote playable teaser, playable trailer that and there was a purpose to it, and that was the reveal of a now canceled video game, which is why I would be willing to give it a pass, just specifically because it's got like historical relevancy to a to a game in a game franchise that I actually really like. But I just like didn't really care for like the actual gameplay, you know. Not because I thought that it would be like reflective of like the final game or anything like that, but specifically because I just didn't it's just not my kind of game. I just don't really like these first person walking simulators.
Yeah, PT is very art house.
Yeah, it's a little too. It's it's like the kind of game that's like way too like art house with like obtuse trigger hunting and stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of like all of like Bloober Team's like entries and stuff like that, or or like Outlast or Amnesia or all of it. I'm just not at all.
Yeah,
I just don't.
Yeah, it's unfair in some ways, and there's it's a very fine line you have to walk when you're doing a horror game that's sort of inherently unfair.
You were going off on that Outlast the other day, right? Calling it a fucking walking sim.
Yeah, there's just like not really any like any real punishment for losing or anything like that. Well, okay. I should be a little more fair, given that that's not what they're going for, but I just like but I still feel like there should be a video game attached to attached to it, and and it's like for that kind of thing, it's more of an interactive horror experience than there is like
Yeah.
Yeah.
than there is like a game. You just the thing is you got punished for doing the wrong thing, and now the ghost broke your neck and peed on you.
Yeah, that's.
I just noticed that someone actually joined the audience literally as I said the words "peed on you."
That's all good. That's about right.
That's how we do things here.
That's the type of content that they expect when they buy into our Patreon. It's fine.
I honestly think it's a good episode name.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah. So the ghost breaks your neck and pees on you, and it's just like, that's like the kind of thing that you can, that that's about, after I saw that, it's like, okay, nothing else can really top what's going on in this, and then I just like never played it again. After I did get the trailer, reading everyone's walkthroughs, but I didn't like actually play it again after that.
It did seem like that wasn't the direction they were going to take Silent Hills in had the game actually been made, though.
Yeah, no, if the game was actually made, I would hope that they put combat in it. I mean, Silent Hill Shattered Memories had like no combat, but I don't even know like how Silent Hill Shattered Memories would play if if without combat.
Well, that's another one of those sort of, it leans more into art house
Yeah.
kind of games, in my opinion.
I mean, I just like rushed through everything in Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
We joked about that a few episodes ago, where like you like very specific parts on you do very specific routes in the psychological segments to make it go the fastest with the psychiatrist. So if you do like the relationship cards, you're like, oh, I'll just throw these together, and then the psychiatrist is like, your mother's a whore and your dad is an alcoholic. And it's like, I'm just trying to save 2 minutes, man. Leave me alone.
That's pretty funny. I feel like I haven't given Silent Hill Shattered Memories like, okay, fuck PT. I want to play Shattered Memories just because of that fucking psychiatrist.
Game's got a good twist, I'll give it that.
My mother was a bitch.
Your mother's a bitch.
My mother was a bitch.
Silent Hill has such a weird relationship with combat mechanics, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying to work on like a no save no damage run of Silent Hill 2, like off and on. Like that's probably going to be what I get. Well, okay, I'm gonna finish what I'm doing with Resident Evil Village, and then I'm gonna play Signalis, and then I'm gonna go back to Silent Hill 2 no damage and try to like wrap that up.
I really want to play Signalis.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do anything special for like Halloween any year, because it's like I play horror games year round, and you want me to do a horror game marathon? Where were you the other where were you the other 330 days of the year? Come the fuck on.
Yo, it's Halloween. It's time for Animal Crossing. No save, no damage.
It's Halloween. Are you doing a Halloween marathon, Carcy? And it's like, my entire fucking stream is a Halloween marathon. Where were you the rest of the year?
Don't talk to me about Halloween. I am Halloween.
I am Halloween.
I did kind of want to, I know we've spent a vast majority of this show talking about Resident Evil, but I did kind of want to deep dive into your exploration of no damage, no save Silent Hill. Just because, like you said, it's such a unique, unique is not the best word, but yeah, actually unique. The combat system is a bit of a unique experience. So much so that I do recall one of the concerns folks are saying about the remake is, hey, are they going to make James like competent at hitting nurses? But at the same time, like I always tell folks who like play Silent Hill 2 for the first time in the modern age, like, one, if you can, try the enhanced edition on PC. Here's the installer. Mm-hmm. And two, honestly, you may as well play combat on easy, because it's very, very tedious.
Yeah, I mean, the actual combat, unfortunately, in Silent Hill is incredibly tedious. So like it's like one of those things where it's just like you don't really notice it until you try to be a little more efficient at the game. And then that's when Silent Hill 2's like real flaws like actually are front and center. It's a game that's gotten like really, really high ratings. Everyone's oh my god, Silent Hill 2 is the best horror game ever. And I mean, they would be right about it being, like story-wise, it is, it hits all the notes of like, it is like the video game. When people think about like psychological horror games, Silent Hill 2 is like at the top of everyone's list, basically. I mean, okay, maybe I shouldn't say like everyone's list, because there's a lot of people who are probably going to be like, there's other better Silent Hill games. Whatever. I'm not even going to get into that debate actually, because it's all opinion anyway. I don't give a shit about anyone's opinion. You shouldn't give a shit about my opinion. Give a shit about your own opinion, please. In the case of Silent Hill 2, yeah, it is widely regarded as like the psychological horror game, essentially. But as far as like the actual gameplay goes, the actual combat goes, everything is balanced around using as many health items as possible. You're running around, you collect all the health items, you go to actually fight things. You get punished for dumb stuff because they did not balance the combat in that game at all. It's like your excuse is, well, James is not he's not a soldier, you know. He doesn't combat, and it's like, okay, well then explain to me why you can use the great knife against Eddie, and then Eddie recovers like half a second later and shoots you in the face with a gun while you were recovering from your from using, you know, like, you know, a weapon that has like no recovery time. I know I just said great knife, but let's say even the wooden plank, okay? Eddie would just like recover from that and just like fucking punch you when you're like trying to recover and like go back to standing and be able to fucking, you know, dodge or something like that. You know, try to just try to do what you can to get out of the way. You can't, because nowhere in James's, you know, in James's frame data can you do anything. Everything is negative on hit, you know? Everything is unsafe on hit. You know, you hit something and you get punished for it. So you have to really take advantage of like the enemy's AI in order to get around it. That being said, I mean, everything in the game for the most part has like a no damage strategy, but Eddie is a problem and the twin pyramid heads are a problem. Like those are the only two like major problems that I've found, is like Eddie and the twin pyramid heads.
Do you think that they'll pull away from that with the remake, and make him kind of more of an action star? Like, I think they're going to go full Resi 2 remake with it.
Yeah, I think that they're actually going to lean a little more heavily into like, you know, into like being a little more laissez-faire with the action, just because of what I've seen in the trailer and how James has like, you know, this big action shot with like the wooden plank, you know.
Yeah.
Like for some reason they were making that like they were making something like that like front and center, and the way they did the music, the way they did the reveal, the way that, you know, just the way that they just didn't ease into anything. There was no subtlety at all. They were not making a Silent Hill trailer. They were making a Resident Evil trailer.
The whole thing, even if you ignore...
I have a lot of thoughts about all of this.
I was going to say, you sound like a very subtle version of Nitroid last week.
Even if you kind of ignore, like, the content, if you just think about, like, how they presented the information, it looked like a Resident Evil, like, Capcom announcement.
Yeah, 100%. Like they left no room for subtlety, you know. It's like, hi, we're Bloober Team, and this is Silent Hill 2.
Non-zero chance of James at some point going, I can't believe I killed my wife.
This is no, exactly. No, you're right. You're right on the money. You know, like all the memes going around last week. What was it? Press F to cry or something like that.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah,
I didn't make the image, but that was my fault.
It blew up on Twitter because of Nitroid, and then it got to the point where a bunch of people were fighting, and then even like straight up Ito like reached out and was like, "It's okay, man. I understand your concerns. Like, shit was wild."
Yeah, Ito was really cool. Had just sort of a brief exchange with him, and he was like, you know, I have the same concerns. Like, his big thing was that people seemed to sort of misinterpret what was getting everyone upset about that trailer and about the way they handled the intro scene. And there's this really dumb fan theory that in the intro scene to Silent Hill 2, when James is looking in the mirror, his reflection is looking at the player. And it's a really dumb theory, but a lot of people believe it, and Ito has been trying to shoot this down for a very long time. And so people thought that the anger was over the fact that he's not looking at the player in the remake, and that's not it.
It's so much more. It's so much more.
And so, like, I reached out to him and I said, hey, I'm really sorry that this is causing you so much grief, and, you know, I've got a lot of respect for you, and, you know, I understand that that's not what this is. The concern is that there's absolutely no subtlety to the game whatsoever, and that James is acting like a histrionic jackass. And Ito was like, yeah, I kind of have the same concerns. He was very vague about it and diplomatic, which was nice. But
I see.
But yeah, it was cool that he even responded. And then what was really funny is
that's fascinating.
When I wrote my initial message to him, I used DeepL, which is like a you know, sort of a machine learning algorithm.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with DeepL.
Yeah. And
Audience might
when-
not be though. I'm sorry.
it's translation. Basically, like, imagine Google Translate but good, you know? And so I don't speak a lick of Japanese. I know just like very, very tiny bit, but not enough to write anything meaningful. But I made my reply to him, sort of checked it, made sure it seemed okay, sent it, and he complimented me on my amazing Japanese.
LOL.
And I was like, yeah, that's deep L. And he just sort of was like, oh, now I feel like I'm alone at the bottom of a sea.
Oh God.
I was like, oh God. So that was scary.
I do like how one criticism, and it's understandable, I saw one criticism about like the nurses now having sort of these thigh-high stockings that kind of squeeze their thighs, and I'm like, yo, have you seen Ito's non-safe for work shit on Twitter? He loves them Johns.
Yeah.
He loves those stockings. He'd probably put them in the original game if he could. But
yeah, fucking calm down, you Puritans. We're having sexy evil nurses.
But I mean, you know, it still doesn't. People have their valid concerns, and I was curious to see your opinion, Carcinogen, and it sounds like you're sort of aligned with Nitroid, but with less sort of personal outrage.
I got a little mad.
Yeah, I mean, I have less personal outrage because I've emotionally divorced myself from Konami years and years and years ago. I didn't even expect Konami to just like come back after like, you know, 5 years of just like nothing in the AAA game industry for them to like, you know, and it's like, oh, they're bringing back not one, not two, but 5 Silent Hill games. And the count was 5, right? It was 5
like
Silent
4
Hill
in
games.
a movie?
4 Silent Hill games and a movie.
Oh,
like Community.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why I got that mixed up. 5 announcements, okay, including a movie.
Possibly 5, because there was that also the other one with the girl and the Post-it notes and all that. If that even manifests.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, provided that leak was, you know, correct. I mean, like, I am inclined to believe that those leaks, that there might be some truth to those leaks. I mean, like, maybe that's Silent Hill Townfall. I don't know. I feel like based on that stuff. I mean, like, none of that Japanese, by the way, was machine translated. Just for the record, like the stuff in the Dust Golem reveal. Like none of that Japanese was like machine translated, so I feel like it might be real.
Yeah, but how many projects get started and have concept art and God knows what made for it that just never actually enter production?
I mean, plenty of times, yeah. But it's like we know nothing about Silent Hill Townfall either, so who knows? You know, literally since like Metal Gear Solid 5. You know, like since they dropped the ball on that, and then Kojima bounced, and then Metal Gear Survive, and then no video games after that for like 4 or 5 years, like not even no reveals or anything like that. Like they threw out Castlevania, they threw out Silent Hill, they threw out Metal Gear. Contra had like one game, and they did like their arcade collections and shit like that. But that's like stuff that's like it's not new though. They're just reselling their old crap and peddling NFTs and crap like that. So I was just like convinced that Konami, aside from like all of their like pachinko, their Japanese spa operations, and whatever crazy mafia bullshit is going on with them, like whatever crazy Yakuza bullshit is going on with them, there is just I just figured Konami, for all intents and purposes, was just dead. They were just dead, and I just couldn't find it in me to feel any like outrage so much as just like, well, I was wrong that Konami was completely dead. They appear to have outsourced everything, probably for the better. The people who got the stuff outsourced to could be for the worse. I'm just going to, I'm just here for the ride now at this point. It's more shit for me to cover, and it might be kind of fun. Whatever. It's a fun plot twist that Silent Hill is back.
Renewed for another season.
We're ready for another season.
A great way to look at it, and again, another way I can see why you and Apache are such close friends.
I'm really excited for Silent Hill.
Silent
I'm
Hill.
gonna try. Yeah, Silent Hill.
F.
Yeah.
Silent Hill Forte.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep saying that until it catches on.
Is the ending music gonna be by Tsukiko Amano?
I'm sorry.
Sorry. That was a Fatal Frame reference.
I'm sorry. I don't know the joke. I don't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that
Yeah. Like the endings. Like there's an ending song that's like a J. That's like a really like a J rock, like a J rock ballad at the end of every of like a J rock power ballad at the end of like every Fatal Frame game by this artist Amano Tsukiko. It's like at the end of every single Fatal Frame game.
It makes me miss the J rock that used to play. I think they only really did it in the original RE1. That doo 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 doo. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
The credits music for the original Resident Evil 1.
Oh yeah.
It gives me the same vibes as the credit music in Fatal Frame.
Yeah, kind of.
So I'm gonna make a really bad music joke real quick. And if we're assuming that Silent Hill F actually does mean Silent Hill Forte, I'm just gonna say it's a shame that they didn't call it Silent Hill Pianissimo. And there's your music joke for the day.
Yeah, to give some context, by the way, the original Japanese Resident Evil Biohazard, like the very first release of Biohazard, actually had like completely different credits music. There was a song by like a famous Japanese musician called Yume de Oware Senai, like please don't let the dream end or something like that.
Huh.
Or like the dream isn't over, the dream can't end. I'm sorry, my Japanese is not great.
Did you ever notice that there are two games? There's one called Observation and there's one called Observer.
Uh-huh.
And the companies that made both of those games are both making Silent Hill games now.
Who made Observation?
No Code.
No Code. And Observer was
Bloober.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
There's no
That
point.
sounds-
It's just weird.
It is pretty funny.
I'm just still coping with Bloober making Silent Hill 2. That sounds like a punchline.
It is pretty funny. I mean, like I haven't actually like really played much anything of Bloobers. I just know that they apparently just don't have any they just don't really have any like good handling of like mental health. Like I don't know, there was like one game where like someone was abused, and they made that like the evil part of like the main antagonist's personality was the fact that they got abused or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of criticisms in the way Bloopers handled stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's really going to come down to like there's a lot of original people from Silent Hill involved, and as long as they're calling the shots, I'm optimistic. Maybe I'm huffing the copium, but I am super optimistic about these games.
I've given myself enough resolve to be team. This isn't the original Silent Hill 2. This is its own new game. It's this type of scenario has worked out before. So yeah. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it doesn't work.
I'm just hoping that it'll be like at the very least, fun. I can't really speak for anyone else's, possible opinion about the game or anything like that. I just want a video game, and maybe it'll be good.
The bar truly is so low.
Yeah.
I hope the game is fun.
I will say I've heard people make the argument that, this is just, this is a different take on Silent Hill. This is gonna, you shouldn't expect it to be exactly the same or to follow the same beats or to use the same art style, etc.
I feel like I just said that.
Yeah, you did, but here's the thing. In the video where they're talking about the project, one of the very first things they say is, our goal is to recreate everything that made the game a timeless classic.
Okay, yeah, that's a poor choice of words.
Yeah.
They also said it's a reboot as well.
Did they?
Yeah, they use the word.
How do you reboot what? How do you reboot a game that only had one game?
Do you think? Hold on. Do you think that might be like a language thing because they're like it's like a language translation issue? Like they're.
It was text on the screen that said reboot.
Yeah.
So maybe.
I mean, I'm naturally a cynic, so I have no hope. But you know, I hope people like it, and I'm gonna play it. But, like, I'm not hopeful.
There's been a lot
of talk. You're gonna be mad right up until the point you're queuing up at midnight to buy it, and all the way home with it. I'm just You're gonna get it early, obviously, but
I just picture Nitrate in the car with his wife driving, and he's like, "I gotta go. Can we just go to Wendy's first? Can we just let's just go to Wendy's before we go home?"
You know, this won't be so bad, but I know Metal Gear's coming, and I'm not ready for it.
Oh, it's so happening. Did you see that there was a fake rumor thing again today or yesterday
about MGS3 and what is it, Virtuous Studio or something?
Yeah, but there is a shot of their studios, and they've got like the Metal Gear Solid graphic novel on the desk, which only means that they're ripping off Yoji Shinkawa's art. That could be for anything.
Right, like during the one Xbox conference where there was a Ludens statue.
And now we have a cloud project coming.
Yeah.
That being said, I wanted to make sure we made this point in the episode at some point, because I know we spent a lot of time already. But I've seen a lot of suggestions recently that are like, guys, why don't we, actually work on remaking games that sort of could use a bit of refinement, things that were sort of mediocre back in the day. One person had mentioned, actually it was you, Nitrate, had mentioned remaking the Bouncer, and I can't stop thinking about that. This year, I don't know, something about this year.
Totally forgot about that game.
Dude, this is literally like you're like the seventh person who said that to me this year. Like, 2022 has been the year that has been a reminder of the Bouncer for some reason. And I would fucking love that remake.
The Bouncer.
With like everything happening, like, where do you see, I mean, I can imagine I know the answer to this, just because, don't break something that isn't, don't fix something that isn't broken, but sort of where do you see this future of CarcinogenSDA, both in terms of like a challenge runner, but as well as with the advent of all this survival horror content coming out?
I don't know. I mean, I'm actually looking at I'm actually looking into, a new direction on my YouTube channel, just specifically like as far as like, additional content on top of, what I've already got with my with the current set of YouTube videos that I have. And I'm also trying to figure out, just like how to be, how to just be better at streaming. It's been a struggle for me for many years, because like I feel like when I started, I kind of caught lightning in a bottle, and I just like never really evolved. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out like just trying to figure out like, what is the way, what is like the direction for me, because it's like you try to throw a million things at a wall and see what sticks, but then you just kind of fail to like really see your strengths and kind of work smarter, not harder. And I haven't really done a whole lot of that up until now. So but I have some ideas, for just like, supplementary content and additional content that is still gonna, it's still gonna be like the same base premise of, try to help people improve at video games as much as I can, kind of thing. But also just like deal with like, getting correct information about certain things. Because like, for instance, when we're talking about like unlockables in games, sometimes a lot of times, there's just like not correct numbers or just like incorrect information about like how to do something. And I just want to take the I just want to like take the correct information, like not something that someone erroneously posted on Game FAQs like a long time ago, and actually repackage it into like, really, really quick, really digestible like information kind of thing. That's what I'm kind of hoping to do with like YouTube Shorts, actually.
That would be really cool, because there is a lot of bad information out there, and I think it's because, like, what's that saying, that the empty chamber makes the loudest bang? There's a lot of people like know fuck all, but are so confident in their delivery when talking about a game that there's just so much bullshit out there for games.
Yeah, 100%.
That's not just games, that's everything.
Oh yeah, no, true. There's tons of games that I've been getting into recently that just have a lack of data for things, which is really irritating.
Yeah. And at that point about the game FAQs, like I'm pretty sure like we've brought up a few of those for Metal Gear on this channel a few times, so I think our goals align there, just with different series.
Yeah, there is so much misinformation about Metal Gear even now, and people regularly do things like they confuse Metal Gear Solid 1 and Twin Snakes, and they'll say, "Oh, why don't you just do this?" And it's something that can only be done in Twin Snakes, or they'll mention some game article that was posted years ago that said something completely incorrect about the game, but people still believe it now. It's very, very irritating.
If I had a nickel for every time an Outer Heaven viewer just like tried to tell me, hey, Three Dog did this strat, or DRK did this strat, and it's like, the speedrun strats are different, you fucking jackass, leave me alone.
I feel every time, oh my god, every time someone says like, oh, is this a speedrun, or like, why aren't you speedrun? I'm like, people can't read. It's like working in retail again, and they don't read the sign except in Twitch mode.
Nobody. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing about streaming. That's like one of the things that I'm trying to like figure out how to evolve on streaming, is like, because people don't pay attention that I just get so frustrated, and like I have to figure out, I had to figure out the hard way, and for some reason it's like over the last few days I've just had an epiphany. You have to treat every stream like it's everyone's first time watching anything. Like it's their first time watching a stream. It's like, forget the people that are already there. They can take care of themselves, but the people who have just like never seen anything before, like people who are just like, they're just like lurking and they want to stream, or there's the or then there's people who are just like, they just know fuck all about fuck all, right? So from here on out, you're only as good as like the last 2 streams that you've done. So from here on out, I'm just going to treat every stream that I do like it's, like it's everyone's first time in the channel. And that's the new approach that I'm taking.
That's very healthy. That is, yeah.
And when I've changed my perspective, consequently, I actually feel like my attitude has gotten a lot better. I mean, granted, it is like a lot more sarcastic, but it's a fun, playful kind of sarcastic, because now it's everyone's first time watching the stream, including yours, Apache. It's your first time watching the stream.
I actually really like that so much that I'm gonna steal it. Like that's a fucking great way to look at things.
Yeah, no. If you think that you've seen my stream before, no, that's bullshit. You've never actually seen my stream before. It's your first time in the stream. It's everyone's first time in the stream.
I just got like a funny memory come up of when you were doing Metal Gear Solid 2 No Damage on stream, and I was explaining something to you in the chat, and then someone else, like a few other people, started talking, and you just went, if you don't actually run this game, I really don't want to hear about your opinions on it.
I mean,
fucking hilarious.
I had to lay down the law. I'm sorry, but sometimes it do be like that.
It's
with
brutal, but fair.
Yeah, no, it's like that. We're here to validate that for you. Thank you for coming on the show. This is your reward.
Yeah, like the thing is, whenever a bunch of people are like trying to like, they see that I'm trying to redo something over and over and over again, and they don't get what I'm doing. and I have to like, it's like, yeah, I have to explain that over and over and over again. The experimentation phase is like what a lot of people don't understand, but it's like someone like Apache does, because that's how you get good at video games. And Apache would be the person who I'm trying to learn from,
Yeah.
But it's like I can't learn from someone who is just like, oh, I watch Outer Heaven,
I played
and I saw
10 years ago, and I
played this game 10 years ago, right? I feel like that's going forward, that's kind of the way that I need to like approach things if I'm going to have like a renewed interest in what I'm doing. So I guess that's kind of what I got to do, but
save you a lot of frustration too.
I'm already having a lot of fun with it. I'll just say that right now.
Yeah, to be honest, like all your streams recently, you have seemed like you're having a fucking great time, and you've been a lot more just positive and enjoying playing the games, and it's really cool to see.
Oh, well, now you tell me that I'm being positive, I'm gonna have to be a fucking downer. I'm sorry, it's over.
Well, look what you've done.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just keep spamming "you've changed" in caps in your Twitch.
Nah, I don't want to be a fucking positivity streamer. No, I'm actually dead serious. I don't want to be a positivity streamer. Get the fuck out of here, because like, I don't know. I'm just like, I just can't stand that like fake positivity and shit like that. It's like you can't force it.
You're either fake or inhuman.
Yeah, you're either fake or inhuman. Yeah.
You can force it, but you can only do it for a short amount of time, and there is an equivalent weight on your mental health on the other side.
Oh yeah, it's what do they call it? Emotional labor.
I don't know how people can just stay on like that for so long. I can't.
Is it emotional labor, or are you just like really, 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 really good at manipulating people?
Oh fuck. And this goes into some of the things Apache said about some streamers just being fucking narcissistic psychopaths.
Yeah, it's like maybe you're just a narcissistic psychopath. Maybe the job works better if you are.
We're all channeling our inner narcissistic psychopath at the end of the day.
It's true. But with that being said, like, thank you again for coming on. As a fan and as somebody who runs this podcast, it's been such an honor, and it's also fresh, good content for us.
Well, this narcissistic psychopath thanks you for having me on.
And yeah, we look forward to it, both in terms of like how you want to evolve your channel and how you play out these new survival horror games coming out. But with that being said, we want to have folks be able to watch you. So if you could plug out your pluggables.
Yeah, I will plug out my pluggables. So the thing that I like to tell people to check out first is always my YouTube, because that's like the body of work that I like to show people, and that's at youtube.com/carcinogenSDA, or it's youtube.com/@carcinogenSDA as it may be right now. I don't know. YouTube is just changing shit around. Whatever. Just search CarcinogenSDA. You'll find me. It's the icon with the little tuxedo cat in the green circle. The little tuxedo cat wearing the sunglasses. That one. And it's the same thing on Twitch, twitch.tv/CarcinogenSDA. I just, it's like there is a lot more informal, and I just make a bunch of dick jokes and play video games over there, because that's just where I record the runs.
And it's great.
Fuck yeah.
But like my YouTube channel, in particular, is like I do the no damage runs. It's like I record the raws on my Twitch, and then I record the commentary in post, and I just upload it directly to YouTube. So it's like a lot more structured, better tailored for the YouTube viewing experience over there. So just go check that out. That's like the stuff that I actually consider content over there.
Awesome.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you again for coming on.
Thanks again, man.
We won't hold you up much longer, so thank you again.
Yeah, hey, thank you.